teaching you how to create a little joy in your life through some fun, simple, and quick art projects. There we go. Okay. Just wanted to make sure. So I'm using new software tonight, and I had to check on it to make sure that I was actually live in my group. And I think it's working. So yay me, and yay to daughter number one, who is genius and who has helped me connect up this new software. It's called Restream. So hello everyone. We are doing Tropical Sunset tonight. Welcome to the July PIY Paint It Yourself Painting of the Month. This one, I love this one, you guys. There's blending involved, which can be tricky for some, especially because you have to move quickly. When you're blending, you want your paint wet. You want your surface paint wet, the paint on your brush wet. It's all wet. So you need to move a little quickly. And I tend to paint a little quickly for some. I know that. I apologize ahead of time. But that is the beauty of having the recording, because you can hit pause, rewind, fast forward, whatever you need to do. So yes, you will have the recording. It stays up in here. If you're painting with me, let me know. But back to the beauty of this is that there's blending involved, but the painting itself is kind of simple. You just need to move quick with the blending, and there are only 5 colors, and black and white are 2 of them. So we have white and black, a deep blue, a cobalt blue, a true blue, something, a sort of a dark blue. We may add black to this, I don't know. A bright yellow. And then on the supply list, it said magenta. But I felt like my magenta might be a little too dark. If you have a dark magenta, you want to really tone it down with white. Otherwise, I have pink. Okay? So let me add in my other camera. There we go. There we go. And we will get started. Let me turn you guys around. And here we go. Switch that. And hello. Welcome. So let me, again, new software. So if you can be so kind and patient, we will get it right. There we go. My canvas is 11 by 14, and it is horizontal. We're doing the tropical sunset, and you want your canvas, your surface, whatever it is you're working on, to be horizontal. Okay? I'm going to put out some of this blue, and I think I will put a little bit of black in it, but just a little bit. A little bit of black goes a long ways. You only want a little dot of black. Let's see how that works. Hello, Sam. Thank you for all your help. And I can see the chat. Woo! I'm going to put out my yellow. And I know people always think you need a lot of paint. You really don't need a lot of paint. A little bit of paint goes a very, very long way. You don't need that much paint. A quarter size drop. Then I'm going to put up my pink. If I want it darker, I'll put in some magenta. But I really felt like this folk art magenta, or even this dragon fruit, was a little dark. If that's what you have, tone it down with white. It's fine. Every sunrise and every sunset is different. So we're not going to fret. And you guys, you know, I always tell you to use the colors you have on hand. I would never want anyone to not be able to create because they thought they didn't have the right colors. Okay. So I am going to apply a little bit of pressure to my brush. I'm going to pick up a little bit of black, and I'm just going to mix it in over here. I don't want to contaminate my whole pile, but I just want to get my blue a little bit darker over here. Okay. And I'm going to start up here with the sky. Now, you guys know you have the tracer, and the tracer is good for the trees and the chairs. You can do one of 2 things. You can trace it on before you start to paint, when you're ready to paint, and cover it with, go over it with a Sharpie or a paint pen with the black so you can see it. Or you can freehand it like I'm going to do, or you can do the entire background, dry it, and then trace on your design. Totally up to you. Okay, I am painting my edges. While I have the blue on my brush, I'm going to paint my edges. Okay. You can already tell the difference. Look, I went over the edge a little bit, that my blue up top is a little bit darker because I added the black to it. All right, I need to do, let's see if I can do it here. Nope. Let's see if I can do it. No, I didn't mirror it. I'm going to have to mirror my camera later. So we move you guys over. Okay. So again, new software. I forgot a step. I'll be okay. It's fine. Okay, I'm going to keep adding in now the blue here. We're going to go about 2/3 of the way down. I'm going to pick up some white. And now I want to usually, and you guys have painted enough sunrises and sunsets with me that ordinarily I'm going straight across back and forth. This time I want to skip a few spots. Okay. So I have some blue here. I added some white in here. I'm jumping over spots. I'm going to pick up some white. I'm going to add the white in here. Okay. Pick up some more blue. Instead of picking up blue and white on my brush and blending it, I am blending on the canvas by only picking up the white on my dirty brush and then going into the empty spots. I know I'm moving in and out, you guys. Let me turn sideways and see if that helps a little bit. This also helps another reason because sometimes when we're painting horizontal on the flat, our arm will tend to windshield wipe. But if we go back up and we're painting technically horizontal, but we're painting our strokes vertically, we will have less windshield wiping and more of horizontal lines. Because when you do the water and you do the sunrise on the sunset on this project, you want all your lines, all your brush strokes to be horizontal across the top. And that is an easier thing to get when you're pulling up and down and painting vertically for a horizontal look. Okay, now I'm going to wash my brush and give it a nice rinse. I'm going to load it with the white. Apply a little bit of pressure, pick up some white, and now I'm going to put the corner in some pink over here. And I'm going to start adding in my pink. I'm picking up white. And pink. I want some areas to be mostly pink, some to be mostly white. I'm going to come up here. I'm going to bring the pink up into the top. And if you can see, I've now changed my brush. Instead of using my brush on the flat, I'm using it on the chisel edge. So as I bring the pink up, I'm getting smaller brush strokes. But then I can go back to the flat. And when I say flat, I mean I'm using the brush this way on its flatter surface. But on the chisel edge, I'm using the brush upright, up and down. Pick up some more white. Before I go on, I want to get my ruler, get my T-square, and about 1/3 of the way up, well, I guess I could measure. So this is an 11 by 14. Yeah, so it's 11 wide. So about a hand, would that be like 3 inches? Yeah, a little more than my hand up. I'm going to put a line for my horizon. I should have done this when we started. This is the only time you guys will see me use a ruler when I want my horizon line, you guys. Pretty much the only time I will use a ruler. The rest of the time I'm eyeballing it and just winging it. So let's put that away. Okay. So a little bit more pink in here. I have my dirty brush. I'm just picking up pink. A little bit more pink in here. Again, we want all of our paint to be wet. When we're blending, we need the paint on our surface and the paint on our brush to be wet. Okay. I'm going to come down here towards the horizon line. I'm going to do my edges a little bit. Okay. Now I'm going to wash my brush again. It's very important to wash your brush at this stage because I'm going to pick up yellow and we don't want any blue on our brush. You can actually even, if you're concerned, switch brushes, get a new brush because we don't want our horizon being green. We want to go into our yellow. We don't want blue on our brush because even if you're not adept at mixing paint, we all know yellow and blue make green. Okay. So I'm going to pick up my yellow. I'm going to draw a straight line on my horizon line. I'm going slowly. I have my brush on the chisel edge and I'm moving right across my canvas. And now I'm going to start filling that in with the yellow. It can go up into the white a little bit and then back down into the yellow. So up into the white, back down into the yellow. Up into some white and some pink, back down into the yellow. And I'm just going to keep blending this in. We're going to be doing this silhouette, like the sample of the palm trees and the couple little chairs out watching the sunset. But this is a great background to use for any kind of design that you want. And now again, I'm doing my sides. I want to just come in here, not too much, but I want to bring in the yellow up until some other areas of my painting. I'm not going to go all the way up into the blue, again, because I don't want green, but I do want to bring in a little bit more yellow into my my sunset. Okay. Then I'm going to get a bottle of paint. I'm going to put it about a hand's width in. I'm going to put 3/4 of it into the sky, 1/4 of it into the water, and I'm going to trace. Okay. This is going to be our sun. Pick up a little bit of yellow, put a little corner on some white, and I'm just going to paint our sun into our picture. I put a little white on the corner of my brush, and I have my sun in there. I may end up making this whiter, darker. We'll see how it looks when it dries. Okay. And I'm going to pick up some yellow, and I want to put in here, oh, too much yellow. I want to just put in here, I'm going to go back and forth from my sun all the way down the length of the rest of my canvas for my reflection. Back and forth. I have my brush on a 45, and I'm just scrubbing back and forth. I'll put a little bit on the bottom edge too. Okay. How we doing so far? If you see that little Amazon QR code up there in the corner, if you would like to support me and buy your art supplies from my Amazon shop, that is my affiliate link. I have all my favorite supplies in there, my brushes, my paints, my canvases, my multimedia book, and you can hit that link. It does not cost you more, but it's like me holding the door open for you to get your art supplies. Okay, so we started out with the blue on the top. We started adding in some white. I picked up some pink. I picked up some yellow. Everyone's sunset and sky are going to look a little different, and that is okay. Put in my sun. I traced a bottle of paint. I put in my sun, and then I put in the reflection of the sun. Washed my brush really well, and now I picked up some more blue paint. And I'm going to start working on our water. Again, I'm going to come right to our horizon line. Does it have to be perfect? No. Does it have to be fairly straight? Yes. We want our horizon line as straight as possible. So I get that in there. I'm going to do this side too. My yellow on my line is already dry, so I'm not worried about getting it green. Okay. And then I'm just going to start filling in down here. With my water. Do this side first, give my yellow a chance to dry. I'm going to pick up a little bit of black again, just so I have more than one shade. If you wanted to get different blues and make your water really dark or make it really light, like a Bahama blue, like Patina, and make it more tropical, totally up to you. But like I said at the beginning, one of the beauties of this painting is that it only uses a few colors, and a lot of times new painters are less intimidated when there's less colors. So I got the bulk of that in there. I'm just going to come up here under my sun. And now I'm going in and out with my chisel edge, going over the yellow a little bit, but then pulling out, because we don't want our reflection to be an even line, right? We want it to be jagged, the waves are hitting it, it's narrower, it's wider. Okay. And painting that in. And I'm also going to do the bottom. And then we're going to do the same thing on this side. Stand my brush upright. If you see I got a little bit of blue splatter, I'm not going to worry about that, and I'm going to show you what we're going to do with that later on, so you don't have to worry about that either. I don't know if you guys have heard me say it before, but sometimes if I'm doing a floral arrangement and there's something that I mess up or I don't love, I'm just like, add a leaf, add a flower. That fixes it. Nobody needs to know that it wasn't what you had in your head, or it wasn't what was on the original, or wasn't what it was supposed to look like. Nope, it's art. It can't be wrong. Okay, back to my white. And I'm going to add a little bit of white in here for our water. Don't worry if you put too much. You can always let it dry and come back and add more blue. If you don't put enough, you can come back and put more. I want this side to be a little bit darker. There we go. Okay. So at this point, we have our entire background done. And this is a great place for you guys to now be like, I like this. I can reproduce this. And I could put a different design on the front of it. I'm switching to a little bit of a smaller brush. I'm actually picking up some blue, but I'm wiping it off. So I'm picking up blue from my palette, and then I'm wiping it off. And I want to come across here, and I want to have some waves and some water going over. That's why I said it didn't matter that I splashed some blue and had some drops, because we're going to come in and we're going to add in some water right over our yellow anyway. Okay. I want to take a picture of this. So 1 second. There we go. All right. So now we're at this point. We have our entire background done. And like I was saying, this is a background you can use for any other kind of painting that you want to do, a different silhouette, palm trees, but not these exact palm trees that I'm going to do. So whatever you want to do. Okay. I'm going to go back to, I think I'm going to switch to the smaller brush that I was just using to put in my water on my reflection. I started out with about a 1/2 inch flat brush, and now I'm going to switch to this 1/4 inch flat brush. My 1/4 inch flat brush is about as wide as my finger. Okay? And I'm going to go to the black. So now this would be the time, if you wanted to, you could dry it. Dry out your project, get your tracer, take the pages together. The 11 by 14 comes in 4 sheets. Okay. And you could trace it on. I'm going to wing it. Okay. I'll load up with my black brush. I'm going to come about, I want to see some water, so I'm going to come about 3 fingers, and I'm going to put a black line here. And I don't want it to be even, Steven. This is our land. It's not going to go all the way across, but it's going to come past the sun. Okay? And then we're going to fill this whole thing in. If I had traced this on to begin with, I wouldn't have had to paint any of this in blue. So that will be a hint for you if you trace it on first, or even if you know you're going to trace it on second, you know about where you have to go down with the blue. And I'm filling this all in with black. I think these silhouette paintings, especially for beginners, are right on spot, because you're learning some techniques, you're getting a feel for the brush, and soft touch, light touch, hard touch, more pressure, less pressure. You can come up with some creative backgrounds or follow some of my creative backgrounds. And then you just put a simple black silhouette on top of that background, and you have a beautiful piece of art. Okay. So we have 3 palm trees on this side. We have 2 palm trees on this side. I am going to take my flat brush. I'm going to grab a piece of, let me get this. I'm going to use this because it's the back. Put this aside for 1 second. I'm going to show you how we do our palm tree. You want to get a nice amount of black paint on your brush. You're going to hold your brush flat side. Okay, I'll do it sideways so you can see better. I'm standing my brush up, I'm holding it flat. I'm going to push, and as I get near the top, about 3/4 of a way up, I'm turning my brush, and my brush is coming to a point. Okay, show you that again. I'm going to push. Let's fill this in. I'm going to push and slide my brush. When I get about 3/4 of the way up, can you see up here? Up here, I'm twisting the brush between my thumb and my forefinger. So I'm going onto the chisel edge, and my brush gets narrow at the top. That is the stroke that we are looking for to paint our palm trees. You can practice that a couple times. And then you can go to your canvas. If you're watching on the replay, you can just hit pause and then come back. Okay? So I'm going to load up my brush. I'm going to come over here. I'm going to stand up. I'm going to put my one palm tree out here. So it gets a little bit running out of paint. So I'm just going to come back and fill in my original shape. Okay? And that's my first palm tree. Pick up some more paint. I'm going to lay my brush down in the black. I'll put it flat. Now I'm going to curve in a little bit, twist, and go up. And then come back and just fill this in with some black paint. We want the trunks of our palm trees to be wider at the bottom and more narrow at the top. Picking up some black paint. And this time I want to come up and arch over a little bit. Fill it in. Okay. So we have 1, 2, 3 trunks in for our palm trees. And I'm going to come over here. This one is tall, and it starts down here at the bottom of our canvas. It goes way up, turn between the thumb and the forefinger, and get straight. And now I'm just going to fill it in. And bring it down over the edge. Okay? And then our last one is going to come from here. It's going to cut across our sunset and then curve and get narrow. And again, I'm just going to fill it in nice and dark. Sometimes our canvases have little nooks and crannies, and you think you painted it, and then you'll get an air bubble, and it'll pop, and then you'll have to go back and repaint it, and you'll be like, oh, I thought I painted that. So don't worry, it happens. It's okay. Okay, so we have in all of our, I want to fix this one. This one has a little bit of a jagged edge here. I'm going to just fix that. So we have in all of our trunks for our palm trees. Okay. Keeping with the same brush, I'm going to go in. You know what? Then I'm going to pick up my liner brush. I have more control over my liner brush. Because now we're going to put in, I don't know, are they branches for the palm fronds? I don't ever really know. So you can put as many of these as you want. You can make them as tall as you want. That one's going to go off the page. You can make them as thick as you want. You can make them as thin as you want. And right now I'm just putting in the main, I don't know, branches for our palm fronds. You want pretty much all of them to have at least 5 or 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. And they can be as tall or as full or as thin or as sparse as you want them to be. I need a little bit more black. And it's okay to have them cross over. I'm just using my liner brush, light touch, and pulling them in. I know they look a little spidery now, right? I'm just going to rinse off my liner brush. I'm going to go back to my flat brush. I'm going to show you on our picture again. Where was it? Which piece of paper did I have? Here we go. Let's say that's one of our branches. So we're going to take our little flat brush. We're going to lay it on the branch. We're going to slide down and pull. So we're sliding and pulling down. Very light touch. You want the edges to run out of paint like that. You want this to be a dry brush effect. We're sliding down and off. And as you get to the end, it becomes a little bit more narrow. Okay? The trick is to slide down and off. And the same way if we do the other side. Ordinarily, I do one side of palm fronds, but you can do two. And I'll show you that on our artwork. Okay. So get a little bit of black paint. Now this can be a little bit time consuming. I'm going to start over here. I'm going to slide and pull. Slide and pull. And I'm not pulling as far as I get to the tip because I don't want them as long on the tip. They're a little bit shorter when you get to the tip. So slide and pull. This takes a little bit of practice. Practice on some scrap paper. So I'm pushing a little bit to the side and pulling down, and I'm almost have a dry brush going on here. I'm turning my canvas as I need it. Slide and pull. And I'm not sliding an inch. I'm just shifting a little bit and pulling. Now this one, because it sticks straight up, I want it to have on both sides. Okay. So slide and pull. You want to see your background in between. These are palm fronds. They're not thick and lush. They will have light between them. This is a real full and long one, but even so, as I get to the end, I get shorter. And more paint. If it's your art and you only wanted to put 2 palm trees, that's fine. This one, I'm just brushing up. I just wanted that one to have two sides. No rhyme or reason. And I'm going to keep working on all of my branches for my pompons. Sliding a little bit, shifting a little bit to the right or the left, depending on which side I'm doing, and then pulling down and getting the dry brush effect at the tip. This one's going straight up, so this one, again, I'm going to do both sides of. Now I'm sliding my brush up, not to the left or the right, just up into the sky. Okay. Keep going. Pause me as you need to. Pick up fresh paint as you need to. And we're just shifting and doing a little flick. Getting shorter as we go to the edge or the end of the branch or whatever it's called. And then down to the last one. You could even leave this painting at this. If you only wanted to have the palm trees, a few palm trees, you can call it done. Totally up to you. I'm going to put in the little umbrella and our chairs, because then if you want to do that, you still can. Okay? And this one up here, I'm going to make this a little bit like that. Okay? It's a little awkward in there, so I fixed it. Okay, I'm going to grab a piece of chalk. You can if you want, you don't have to. And I'm going to put a triangle in here for our umbrella. The thing I like about using chalk is that it washes right off. So once your paint is completely dry, all you have to do is get a wet cloth, well, not wet, a damp cloth, a damp paper towel, a damp rag, something, and come in and your chalk will come right off. If you want to use the tracer that I provided, you can. I'm just coming in here and I'm painting in this triangle. This is going to be the top of our tiki umbrella. This is a great example, you guys. A lot of times my painters get all flustered and they'll have like one little mark on their background and they'll be like, oh, I messed it up. I messed it up. You didn't mess it up. That's only the first layer of our painting, of our project, of our design, of our art. There's going to be so much else going on here that you're not going to remember up here you slipped, you left a dot, you made a little something that you didn't love. No, we're not even going to worry about it. It's not going to matter. Put in our umbrella stand. And then I'm going to add a little cross here for our little umbrella table. We can put a couple drinks on that if we want. Okay? And then I'm going to come and just with the tip of my flat brush, I'm just going to pull out to the sides. I'm using my brush on the chisel edge and I'm pulling the paint out to the side because I want to give the edge this tiki look, and I'm pulling down. Chisel edge, pulling down, make it look like it has grasses. The grasses are making a shadow in the background. Different lengths. Okay. We don't want a smooth edge on our triangle. We want our umbrella to be more tiki looking. Okay. I'm going to go back to my chalk and I'm going to attempt these chairs. I can't use the tracer at this point because the size wouldn't fit. So I'm going to use the chair picture that is on the tracer and draw it in. Okay. So we have this round top for our chair. Okay. Then the legs come up and down. And then the arms come out and in. Okay. So we have this. I don't even know what do you think this shape is called? The shape for the back of the chair. Then we have our legs come up and down, almost like an N or upside down U. And then our arms come out and in and out and in. Okay. I'm going to go back to my little my little flat brush, and I'm going to fill this in. Now we want to have our chairs basically the same size. Mine will be basically the same size, but they won't be perfect. And if you want them to be perfect, and you keep going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, you're going to end up with a chair for Andre the Giant. So at some point, you just have to say brushes down and be happy that they are close enough. And honestly, I can tell the size of my chairs and how uniform they are by looking at the screen more than I can looking down like this. So if you need to take a picture of yours with your phone and then look at it on there, go right ahead because that may help. And I'm going to wash that brush and I'm going to go back to my liner brush now. Put out the arm and come down. This arm and come down. Then we need this across the back. And then one leg and two legs. This arm and down. This arm and down. Then we have one leg up and two legs. Now this is just a very simple chair. It's going to be a little bit harder for you to get the effect because you can still see my chalk lines. I haven't wiped them off yet, but you get the picture, right? And now I'm going to paint in here 2 little wine glasses. I'm doing the top part, I'm doing the stem, and then we give the little rim at the top. Okay. And I'm going to wash my brush. Get a little rinse, dry it. Then I'm going to pick up a little tiny bit of white because I want my glasses to have a little bit of a glare right there. Okay. I feel like once I switched to this view that I can't see comments anymore or the chat. There we go. I can see them. Sorry, you guys. Sorry. I can't see it. New software, had to readjust, but now I have it. So, hola. Okay, what do you guys think? So, last but not least, the easy part. we're going to add our string of lights. Crisscross applesauce on our trees and then over our umbrella. Okay? I'm going to do it with the back of my brush. I'm going to do it by just dipping the back of my brush in my white paint. I may need to add a little bit more white paint. You need a little bit of a puddle if you're going to dip and dot with the back of your brush. So you want it to be deep. Not 3 inches deep, but you need it to be a little bit deep. So when you dip, okay? And we're going to come up here and we're going to start going to run out. Okay? Now you want to look as though you came behind. You're not going to put any across the front of that one because now it wrapped around and you came behind and now you're going up this tree. Okay? And again, it went behind and now it's coming up to this tree. Try and make them as evenly spaced as possible. I know it's easier said than done. And we're just going to keep working our way up. The lights are strung between these trees. Across the fronds. And up the trunk of this tree. And maybe a couple hanging down. Okay? And I'm going to do the same thing on this side. I'm going to start down here. Go across this tree. And then come out the back. Across the front of this tree. And then out the back. Across the front again. Up the back. Oh no, across the front of this one now. And then around the back. And you can get as fancy as you want, wrapping around. Just pay attention to where it goes from the front to the back. And then this part just dips. And then we have a few hanging down there as well. Wipe it off, put it in the water, and there we go. What do you guys think? Let me turn you guys around now. And hello, everyone. Turn that off. There you have it. There is our little sunset. Now that I look at it, could have used a little bit more pink, but how cute is that? Like I said, you can take this background. It'll look better. I need to let my black dry all the way so I can get off my chalk marks with a little damp rag. I would have put a little bit more pink next time, but there it is. There's a great background for you, the blending, and then you can put whatever silhouette picture you want on the front. Thank you guys. Love you. Thank you for joining me, and I will see you soon.